Hey guys, this is a pre-recorded game. We are playing against Giraffe on Himeyama. He's a pretty good opponent. We played against him a few times, and yeah, he does really well for himself. Actually, he's a pretty smart player, pretty strong player. So he's going for Zhuxi's Legacy, which is a pretty favorable matchup for us as long as you keep tabs on what they're doing. If they go for the Zuganu all in, you really need to react properly and make sure you're getting enough horsemen or archers to deal with it. Mangada get absolutely shredded by Zuganu, so um, when they do go mass Zuganu, it is actually kind of tough for us to deal with it. But there's definitely some intricacy to just keeping tabs on your opponent and knowing what to do and when to do it. Let's just keep it on our vision so you guys can kind of see how we're reacting here. So we came across the map, we did have an extra sheep here, and we grabbed a sheep early and we sent it across, so should be good on sheep for our starting. And we headed straight across the scout his side. We spotted a couple sheep here, which tells us he most likely went to the north, which if we check it out, he went around his base and cleared up around his base, which is definitely not common. That's not usually the correct scouting pattern. So maybe he was a little bit late to the keyboard off rip, or just misclicked it. So we're just doing villager splits, doing our 9-2, and we're scouting over here. And I was gonna say I thought we noticed him. Yes, we noticed his scout here, and he's got 4 sheep, and we figured he had come through the mid. And we didn't realize that he came through his side. And we saw him dipping back. So we assumed he was just going to head back across that side. And we assumed he went up here and then across below the river or below the pond and went up. So we just kind of figured this side is already taken. And he's probably going to take our side to the top here, which he is. And we're just going to commit down here. So we've got 5 sheep. We got already 2 sheep. This one hasn't headed over, but we did have that 1 extra sheep, so we plenty of sheep for our starting build, so we're not too worried. We do have our 9-2 set up, and now we're going to start battling villagers onto wood. A little bit of idle TC time, not the best here. We do rally our sheep onto this con. We were worried about losing this sheep, so that's kind of why we waited till the con to come over here and do this. So now we've got 7 sheep, so in total 7 sheep means we're definitely a little bit lacking in terms of what our sheep count should be, right? We're three sheep behind, but not the best, but not the worst either. He's finishing scouting around here at the top, and he's got a ton of sheep, 11 sheep. So, yep, we're just running straight across to his base. We figured he was up here, so we might be able to get a timing where we duck in front of his scout. And that's kind of just barely what we're doing, right? So we scout here. He did try to garrison his TC. He thought we were going to walk into TC range, which we don't. And what we're going to do is just going to finish clearing out the backside of his base. He doesn't go to it. He's going to scout across. We're assuming, and we just kind of assume maybe there's something over here because we assumed he went up and over, but we don't bump into his scout, so that did kind of tee us off that he did have a little bit of a different scouting pattern than we initially assumed. These villagers are already pre-shifted onto gold and wood, and we're going to open into Keshiks. Stable opener against zhuxi is a pretty strong play and probably the most recommended. We got a little bit late with our villager building this stable. We walked him over really late, so what we decided to do is we pull 1 villager off of our food production and our gold production to build this stable quickly. And the reason we do this is because our timing is going to be really off if we don't. So that's going to speed it up a little bit. And we're just scouting up here, not finding anything. So we kind of accepted the fact that we had lost all those sheep. And we do now fix our macro here. Move our silver tree over. And he's kind of just harassing our Uber here. Not a big deal. Our Keshiks are going to come out. We should be able to poke this if he's not attentive and kill his scout, which is pretty big. And we're going to take our con and just bring him back. And depending on what his scout does, we might use this con to kill his scout to finish closing off So we get our Keshiks out, we get a double charge in, which is actually pretty big because it's a lot of damage, and we get a second hit in. So he's going to be running. He kind of missed my character. He runs kind of in a weird way. And we're just going to cut across with our Khan here, just to help secure this kill basically. And we used our movement arrow. A little bit prematurely there, because it would have been nice after the killing the scout to not stutter step anything here. And so now we're just heading over to his gold. This will tell us if he's going a fast castle play. And because his meditation garden is here, and he's got a lot of gold mined, we kind of think it's a fast castle, but we're not 100% sure here, right? So we're just going to sit on this meditation gardens and burn down and get as much damage as we can. Behind this, we've rallied up to 11 villagers on food, and we're going to pull a food villager to drop a archery range once we have 150 wood. And we are starting to trade 67 gold, which is pretty good. We do have an extra scout out, and he's just running around the base, seeing what he can. We don't see any production buildings yet, so it's looking like a fast castle. And we haven't spotted it yet, but we're just kind of assuming it was happening. And we just kind of guessed that there would be villagers on this wood line. And now no villagers on the wood line, 100% confirmed to us this is a fast castle play. So there's two trains of thought here. One is just cut production, age up yourself. We do try to dive this barracks, because the longer we slow down the barrack production, the later he gets his troops out, and we've got all cav, right? So just a little bit of a delay, it helps, you know. So this is coming out just a little bit later. Is he? Yeah, okay, he's supervising this. Okay, yeah. Which in the grand scheme of things for us is pretty good. So we're starting our production of Mangadai now, and we are rallying a lot of villagers onto wood now, and our food villagers we're going to pull onto this deer patch. And basically we're just massing up a secondary force here on the front with a scout, and he's obviously just massing up on this wood line. He's got his Shaolin monks out, and he's got to pick up relics here. Where is this Shaolin monk? Oh, it's going for the fire one, okay. So he does a good job of maneuvering around our units with his Shaolin monks, so definitely credit to him for that. Because we definitely should have been able to snipe one of those monks. This monk heading up this way. But now we got a pretty decent force of cav here. Now he's got all these spears here. We do react a little bit late there. But we've got one Mangadai here. And one Mangadai is usually enough to kind of deter anybody from chasing. He sends one spearman over here, which is a good trade for us. Just disengage your Keshik that's getting aggro down, and we commit onto this because we do want to kill this. Our injured Keshiks are going to heal up. You can see we're still reducing the food and gold on this meditation gardens, which is important. Mangadai is still getting up, and we're dropping a second archery range. It's really important we get a second archery range up. We don't have survival techniques. That's a really big mistake. We forget a lot of our eco techs here. So that's a pretty big error, but we are investing into traders, so that is the plus side, right? So even though we messed up a little bit there, we are getting some good income because of our traders. We got a nice little dive here, 3 villagers, and at the same time we see him starting to run out of food, right? And we kind of denied this one wood line. He's going to react and probably go to the next one. And so what we do is just dive again. And he's able to garrison really quickly into that village. Sloppy microblast. We shouldn't have lost the Keshik. Definitely a bad move there. And now we're dropping a third range because he's committed to Spearman and he's got stables out. If we just go a lot of Mangadai here, we should be in a good spot. And as long as we keep production going, even if he goes archers now at this point, we should have a favorable trade for us here. Again, sniping villagers where we can. Only 3 Mangadai here. Well, you can see they're starting to chunk away here. We were attentive to his monk running around, and we lost track of this monk. And he does a really good job of wololoing us here. It's a smart play by him. Behind this, we're trying to aggro over here and focusing micro over here. And he wololos us, and we react a little bit late, so we lose 4 villagers here, which is a pretty big deal, right? Because that equalizes, that's basically an 8 villager swing, which is huge. So we know that was actually a really big issue, and we brought this army back to clean up the monk, so to deny that relic. He does already have 1 relic back. Where is that other monk over here? Okay. But we knew one big issue is we don't know where these villagers are going, and he takes them to go wall up over here. Okay, so I was curious where he went with those. But we just decided to not worry about it. If he was in our trade, we'll deal with it when it happens. We don't want him to get onto food and kind of reestablish. We want to keep the pressure on his base here. So we do get our blacksmith up. We are starting to get our blacksmith next. A little bit late, but better than never. And we're just harassing where we can. We've denied this deer pack, and we've killed 3 more villagers. So we're taking the villager lead, the eco lead again with this this raid. Which is important, especially after losing basically an 8 villager string with that Wololo. So. He's starting to make palace guards, which is good for us. Palace guards do not trade great into Keshiks. And he's got his 2nd relic now. But we're about to get our steeled arrow upgrade, which is pretty big. And so we see he's on this food here, and we know he's running out of food. He starts to wall our base here, we don't notice, which is a really big mistake. And it's because we're still really focused here on getting as much damage as we can. He's all melee, so he can't really establish anything on his food here. And he's suffering for food at the same time. And we commit here, kill a few more vills. And then we realize, oh, there's villagers stabbing our traders. So at which point we have to kind of decide which one of our forces do we decide to take back. We start rallying these Mangadai back, which is kind of a mistake, I think, in retrospect. And he was sending villagers out, but yeah, he's kind of in a weird spot. So what we decide to do is we bring these guys over to help kill any villagers that start doing anything in terms of like repairing while we try to burn this down with our cav. We leave this force of cav up here to kind of raid around his base on this wood line and whatnot. And looks like he's going back onto food here shortly. And what we did with this army is we went to the south to try to find his villagers, because we knew he moved his villagers around. He accidentally walks into our TC here, which is good, and it helped spot them. So now we know that his villagers are over here, or the last of our villagers are over here, because they are Mongol villagers. So we kill the traders, and with that we're happy, and we are getting a ton of idle time here, unfortunately. But at the same time, we're pulling his army away, and now we've cleaned up this villager issue. There's 1 villager at the back here, yeah. So we're not too worried about that, but we are cognizant of the fact that there's 1 villager back there. And yeah, we're just trying to deal as much damage as we can here, harassing as much as we can, and what we're really worried about is him getting back onto food. So we know that there's this berry patch, and we know that there's deer patch. And so right now we're bringing our army over. If we can select them, we're bringing them over to the deer. Why? Because the deer spread. The deer had spread. We don't see that terrain move, but we did see the deer spread, and we knew that he was going to be running out of berries soon. So at the same time, we're bringing our cav over here to check the wood line, and we're checking out over here, and we find towers going up. Luckily, we catch it before like his army was here, and we're able to kill a lot of villagers here, right? So it's a ton of villagers. He's done to 30 vills, and we cannot stay under these towers with 11 Mangadai and only 3 Keshiks. So we're just gonna fall back, and we're in a good spot, right? So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop our scouting arrow, and he brings his army here, so and we're just gonna harass. Because his army's here, that means we can hit his wood line. His army is gonna lose all this army, and he's gonna lose the villagers on his wood line now. And without wood, he can't build archers, which which is what he needs really to deal with the Mangadai here. So he loses more bills. He's down to 25. And our armies have kind of combined here to completely shut down the wood on his side. He might be able to secure this food here, but yeah. With trade going on behind this, we did finally burn this down, rallying Cav over here. So overall, pretty good match. And a really good player. He's definitely beaten us a few times. Um, and yeah, so after that match, we decided to play another match, and kind of sucks that I chose the victory before or after, but it was this, I don't know what this player's name is, but he's playing as the Japanese, and since we were playing on Canal, we decided to play as the Byzantines. Um, and just to test out a little bit the Byzantine build, we didn't remember exactly what our build was, so we do it a little bit sloppy, which is unfortunate. We somehow miss all these sheep right here, which is really bad. Oh my god. Because I was trying to click these villagers back on the wood. I was messing around with this and misclicking and not paying attention to my scout. So it's a really big mistake, but it is what it is. The sheep you catch here are pretty important, but it's not end all be all. So we do have our barracks up and our Limatana is coming out, which is nice. Um, and then from here you have to drop a house immediately with 2 villagers. Hopefully we do that right. Okay, we do that right. Idle scouting here is not good. We did run into his scouting. He's got a ton of sheep, so we're like, oh shit. And we do spot a dock. So this is what you're always kind of looking for, is for the dock from your opponent. And Canal is a pretty long map, so that it takes quite some time for you to get there. Even rushing. So we leave it on 2 villagers on wood. That's plenty for now to just produce units, and we just have to make sure our food stays in a really good spot here. Is this 2 fishing ships? It's just 1 fishing ship. So we've actually fallen behind on our unit production a little bit. So that means we idled our TC a little bit. It's again kind of just miss macro things. This build is really tight, so it's important you get it right. Holy shit. 14 sheep. We've got 4. So solid. Our spearman gets here, or the Matana gets here a little bit later than I would have liked. But he did scout us, and so he does a good job of pulling up 3 vills, or 2 more vills, to get this tower up as fast as possible. So we're focusing down this 1 vill, and we just have to change our aggro to a different thing here. So basically, at this point, we just have to fall back. We are probably going to die here. Okay, we do survive. But the big thing is, if you try to rotate into just a fast H2 from here, your investment into all of these Limatani is basically wasted. You have to shut down their fishing, otherwise you're just super behind. You have to, like, even though he's not like really committing into super heavy fishing here, he does have 3 villages here, and now he's got 3 boats here, so it's cheaper for him too as Japan for his investment there. But the big thing is just the economy scaling here, right? So you can see his economy is scaling really strongly. We do have the cistern buffing us, which is nice, but we do need to just commit into a lot of the Matana here. Again, idle time, just improper macro plays. It happens. So I think at 8 food, I need to put like 2 more villagers onto wood, or 1 more villager onto wood, and then back onto food or something. But yeah, it's been a minute since I've done the build, and I didn't fully remember it, so I definitely have to write it down just to have it memorized. And what we're doing here is we're just waiting till we get a decent mass of Limatani to burn down the tower. We do keep scouting up here with our scout. Look at his vision. He scouted pretty much the whole north. But he hasn't really scouted the south, and he's idling his scout. Holy shit, 23 sheep. So yeah, he's got food for days. Anywho, so with 6 Tanai, we move in kind of silently, and he doesn't really notice, and we're able to snipe a villager, which is actually a really big deal. An extra arrow shooting from this tower is really does quite a bit of damage. And so we do have our shield wall on, and this is one reason that this is so with the Byzantines is the Limatani are able to resist a little bit better than other civs. And we're still just massing spears here. Now that we have a lot of villagers on wood, we're starting to rally onto gold. Do have an idle scout, which is a bad thing. And yeah, so we're able to fully deny this. We probably could have popped off shield wall and sniped a villager there. So a little bit of a mistake on our part. But now we have killed one villager, and if we burn this dock down, he will be denied basically 3 villagers, and so his eco lead is going to basically disappear. This idle scout's really bugging me. And then, unfortunately, I shift queued. I'm pretty sure I had shift queued my villagers to drop a mining camp here, and they didn't. I was lagging super badly during this game. I think I had lag spikes probably like 8 or 9 times, where nothing it was like registering. So that kind of like messed up a few things here and there, but this is definitely a big thing because I rallied a lot of villagers on the gold, and I was just like, I couldn't figure out why my gold income was so bad, and I was doing, was watching this, kind of seeing, what he was gonna be doing here, and trying to figure out kind of like what I was gonna do, with like the rest of my villagers, and I could have sworn I dropped. I must have just missed it, but either way, we burned this down, and he hasn't committed to any more fishing ships. And we do spot a range here, so that means we didn't want to burn down the fishing ships, so we run around the side here. And we spot his archers coming out. They start shooting at us. We do try to get a sneaky pick here, just get a couple hits, but his TC's right there, so we cannot commit to that at all. But we have our own dock up now. We're getting a tower up on our dock just in case we have to fall back to that position. And we're just rallying here to the crossroad, the crossing, the river crossing. So we're bringing our scout back with his amazing 4 more sheep. And yeah, we're just gonna drop the sheep here. Just to keep this production going, we pulled a bunch of villagers over onto the berries, and we still haven't noticed the gold issue, which is a really big problem, right? So we know even if he's massing archers here, and they are fast Yumi archers, so he can definitely kite us. It's really important he doesn't get a dock up. And we do spot him trying to do this, right? We spot that villager. This is one moment that I lag. Luckily, I had clicked onto the villager, I shift clicked, and it still registered the movement, but we lose to the Matana here. For the villager, I want to say it's probably worth it at this point, and we do have quite a significant villager lead now. I mean, it's not hugely significant, but we do have a villager lead at this point. And we decided to tap up with the Hippodrome. The reason being, winery takes a minute to scale. We already have the dock kind of providing some oil scaling for us. And yeah, the big thing is really just having to deal with those archers, right? The Matana are good, but you need a counter to archers. You can't just caveman into archers with the Matana. They really aren't that good. Maybe in previous batches, right? But not anymore. Take a scout, go scout here. We do see him dropping this dock. We know if he had stayed though, we couldn't have really denied this dock, but now it's 9 minutes, and he's now getting his dock online, and we have the same amount of fishing eco as he does, right? So we're okay with that. He accidentally runs into our spearman here, So we're happy to chase this a little bit, force some micro attention here. Behind this, we scouted pretty deep into his base. We just see his farming getting set up here. And from up here, we can see that this looks like a castle play. But we weren't entirely sure what he was going to do, especially since he had made archers. So we chase him off as much as we can. We're losing a bunch of spearmen here, so we don't want to lose the entire mass. So we do just fall back here, get our tech real quick, get our wheelbarrow tech, finally get a mining camp up. And now we're just kind of suffering to get resources, like wood and production buildings up. So a little bit of a misclick there. It shouldn't have taken that long to idle or to garrison that fishing ship. But we take our fishing ships out, start gathering here, and we do have a light chunk out. So we were kind of cognizant of the fact he's probably got his own warships out at this point. And we go and scout, and we're going to go scout that here shortly. But we do have horsemen now, and that's going to be kind of the game changer here for us, right? Because if he hasn't made another unit, or even if he has, we've got a pretty solid amount of spearmen here. So we should have a pretty good combo, and all melee is easier to micro than ranged melee. So double dock. We do see the junk, and we're just chilling in the in the forest. Can he see me? Okay, he can see me. I wasn't sure if he could see me or not. Oh, he does. He hasn't built the wall yet, but he's going to. And yeah, this is a fast castle play. So we knew at this point, if he pushes us, we will be okay. I'm dropping our mercenary house, and Japanese, if they like to make samurai, they like to make mounted knights. Going longbows or jav contract here isn't probably the best. I'd really like to go Kashyyyks versus Kashyyyks versus the Japanese. So unintentionally we aggro onto this fishing ship. We do see the light chunk, and we see it's only one light chunk. So we know we can probably take a water advantage here if we want to. We have matched in fishing in docks, and we are running around the side just to kind of see what he's up to. So we haven't seen him. He isn't pushing us. We do see his scout here, but him pushing us tells us that he's probably him not pushing us tells us he's either getting a really big death ball mass or he's going to castle, right? So he loses his scout, which is a really big deal. We're scouting over here, and we spot the stable, and we see the castle age. So we knew seeing that stable, and now with the confirmation that this is definitely gonna be like a samurai, a mounted samurai switch. We do finally spot this wall, which definitely messes up our tempo. We're able to dive here onto his villagers. And we don't have our Expelatories tech yet. Oh my gosh, we're just getting it now. So definitely some big mistakes here in terms of like our tech and an upgrade, because that rage could have been 2 villagers done cleanly. The plus side is though we are getting onto berry patches. We're getting our C3 connected now. Dropping a tower up front for kind of vision down here to see if we're about to get flanked. And it's securing a gold and a pretty important wood mines here. And yeah, he gets out quite a few units, and we're just gonna have to fall back. Fighting under this tower is not a good idea. And from here we have again 2 options. You can go straight into castle, but he's already got the castle advantage and he's committing to castle samurai. So actually probably the best move here isn't to rush yourself to castle. It's just to keep massing and to deal with his army comp, because we know it was mostly Yumis. So horsemen are going to do great against them. And he decided to go mounted samurai. We have the answer to that. If he had gone like a barracks switch here, and if we had spotted a barracks switch and mounted samurai, that's when we probably cut production and start making army here. We have our army in a really good position. We kind of bait him into chasing our Limatana here. We wanted him to kind of follow us. So we just kind of run and play kind of like we're easy to kill here, and we start hitting him here. So our cav is focusing on his cav. We thought we clicked the rest of the Limatana here, so it's a little bit of a misclick there. But we're just going to micro attack and move on these archers. They do bonus damage to the archers, and it's really important that we clean up this archer ball, right? It's the most cost-effective trade for this for our army here. So we get a good trade here. Take out one man on samurai. Almost taking out another one. We are going to clean up this monk. And we're pretty happy with how much army we killed. We do have a drone on out now, and we're starting to burn through here. We wanted to start getting into his fishing tech. And we have really good oil per minute. We're at almost 400 oil per minute. So we're kind of fighting here, but now he's got 4 mounted samurai. 4 mounted samurai crushed our army, so we definitely needed Limatana here. And we kind of pushing with our Limatana. This is kind of what I mean by the micro requirements. It's a little bit heavier on the range flare. So now that our Limatana are close, we kind of bait his mounted samurai in and try to make him take a fight here. And again, this is probably a fight where, oh yeah, I remember this now. This is a fight actually where I lagged for like 10 seconds. I popped the triumph, and then I was lagging really hard. And I couldn't micro anything. So when it finally stops lagging, I was like, oh my god, and I just run. So luckily I have still a bunch of triumph, so these cav that are going to escape, at least they're going to heal up. But yeah, that was not the intention there. The intention was to pop triumph, get some hits, and kind of fall back, but it's whatever. And the scout is still up here. We're noticing he hasn't rotated to the north, and we are able to shut down his fishing eco, which is a really big deal. Losing your fishing income is really bad. We do lose one explosive ship here. We do know this in time. Send the Dromon to go deal with it. And behind this, he tries to push us again. Those injured cav units had healed up quite well, and we're able to push in again. And our villager that built this tower is starting to drop forward production. Forward production is really important here. The map is long. If you don't get forward production, you're going to have issues really sustaining your army here. And even though we're an age behind, just having the mass is usually enough to kind of keep you in a good spot, especially if they don't go mounted, if they don't go samurai. So we're able to kind of micro that a little bit properly, a little bit sloppy. I think we do queue up another junk here eventually, or a galley. Here we are microing again. Just let the Limatana do their thing, and just move the cav onto the archers, right? That's where you're going to get the most value from your units, is fighting your counters, right? And we just back away from the spear mass. Again, we're not too worried about this. We have a total Limatana coming out right now. So, you know, 6 horsemen versus one spearman will take this fight all day. Again, still scouting over here, not noticing anything. Eco discrepancy is getting big. And we're still only on 4 fishing ships, so a little bit of a mistake, especially since we have 900 wood here. We are queuing up more fishing boats. Okay, that's good. So yeah, we should probably go up to like 8 or 10 fishing boats. I don't like to oversaturate my fishing, just because I hate having that big drop off when you have to rotate them onto like a different fishing pond, like over here, and it's super forward. So I do like it just to keep like a moderate amount, like 8 or so. We are dropping some farms here because we have so much fishing. And we are dropping a house and then a cistern to really boost up production here. We do lose our navy here to a demo ship. Dromon is going to do some work against this army though. Maybe? No? No. The fire is a joke, so. But we just see we have a huge mass, right? And we can see his army. And we are not worried at all, because it's just mounted samurai, and we got all we need here. So we're just gonna back our cav up a little bit, just make sure our infantry is ready to fight. And we are, since we had so much wood floating, we're just committing into a lot of archers here. If he starts, he'll probably start switching into samurai, is what we kind of have the hunch, and he is switching into samurai, um, which is the right move since we're still feudal here. And then our archers are super wood heavy, right? And they're relatively wood cheap. So we're gonna just invest in a bunch of archers and age up now. And we'll stop making horsemen, we'll stop making spearmen. We got a whole bunch of them, right? We got a big enough mass to hold here, and we're just gonna make archers and queue up a bunch of production buildings. So when we do hit castle, we can pump a ton of units and kind of hold this forward spot, right? Sister is still level 3. Bear's about to clear up. A couple fishing boats, sending over some demo ships. Again, we had extra gold, extra wood. The big thing is we're just saving up food. And the great thing about Byzantines, you're still getting units because of your olive oil, right? So we're still making keshiks here. And we have a ton of keshiks. So we finish this out. We are housed, and he does push us here, and we just take this fight up front. We do drop our triumph. Still doing it. It's gonna last for 18 seconds, but we just let our cav kind of just frontline here. There's a few archers back here, and perhaps our cav would have been better spent diving on the archer mess in the back. In retrospect. We just didn't want his cav to get on our archers because our archer ball is really what's gonna hold now, even more so than our cav. Because these are the issue now, the samurai. And so we noticed he had some, and so that's why we committed to really protecting our archer ball, because now we're in castle, right? And we're immediately getting our veteran archer tech. But I mean, it's a big thing. Oh, we made a bunch of demo ships to destroy these docks. So docks on fire. Is it cost effective? No. Does it secure it quickly without him being able to react? Yes. So that's kind of what we just wanted to go for. We transitioned a lot of our villagers that built the Golden Horde Tower onto this wood line over here. Would be nice to see a cistern drop right here. Buff all this up and connect into this one. And we're dropping this fire cistern to connect all the way over here, so a little bit ridiculous, but it's okay. And we're really suffering for gold at this point. And we decided to pull a bunch of villagers. These idle villagers that were on berries, we pull them onto gold here. Army's in a good spot. We are building a cataphract now, which is going to really help give some beefiness to this army. And it'd be nice to see this Keshik get queued up. You drop a monastery. Again, still scouting this gold. We've been up here on this north side. We haven't got any movement over here this whole time. And Doc does get burnt out. But now we have a pretty solid army, and we are starting to finally get our veteran techs here. So he probably could have been trying to push and harass us, but the thing is he didn't have the mass, right? And now he's floating a ton of food. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Okay. Decent sized army. But yeah, I mean, he should know that I have an eco advantage, right? Because I haven't lost any of my fishing, right? And I've been fishing, so maybe he's just trying to get some sort of timing push. But his timing push would have been like if he had massed a bunch of units and avoided a fight until I hit castle. And once I hit castle, right before I hit castle, then pushed, right? So it is what it is. Our tech comes just in the think of time here. We do pull back. We don't want to really fully engage here. And we're going to start making crossbows. So this is a decent army, right? This is basically 20 samurai, 20 archers. But we got a decent front line here, and we got a decent archer bell. And if we can idle these archers, we're happy, right? And we just dive onto the archers, right? The cav trades super efficiently into the archers. The Matane hold their own against the samurai. Maybe not the best, but the Keshiks here and there with triumph do a really good job. And so we're able to kind of micro and hold this here pretty easily, and we're now just getting our veteran horseman tech. And basically, he gets his army wiped, and we can just kind of push in from here, is what we're probably going to do. So, a little bit sloppy, really sloppy in terms of like the initial build order and the sheep gathering and everything. But Byzantines are definitely a very strong civ for hybrid maps because you can rush with your spearmen. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you all on the next one.